Thank you. Patrick, thank you very much. Thank you for all that you've done for this terrific organization. You've seen it from every angle as a student, as a teacher, and as a board member. As I hold this in my hand, this award, I noticed Mrs. Duffy, when she was looking around for her award, which one it was, I thought to myself, I'll make you a deal. You take mine, and you get to be Secretary of Homeland Security tomorrow, and I'll go be the teacher for street law because your job sounds a lot more fun. As I think about street law and I look at all of the wonderful attributes of this terrific program, I think to myself, street law would have been a really, really dangerous thing in my household with my kids. I have two kids. They're about the ages of Molly and Chloe. They're 19 and 18. And beginning and around, and many of the parents in this room will have experienced this exact same thing. Beginning at around age 5, what I heard constantly was, "Dad, I want a dog. Dad, I want a dog." And my constant refrain was, when you're old enough to walk the dog, you can have the dog. And so after a couple of years of this, when Natalie, my daughter, who's now 18, turned 10, I decided to have her sign a contract to help her appreciate the importance and the responsibility that we might be undertaking if we got the dog. So I wrote out a contract for the 10-year-old that had a bunch of whereas clauses. Whereas I really want a dog. Whereas I have told my dad that when I'm old enough to walk the dog, I can have the dog. I will feed the 2 cats that I've convinced my dad to buy. I will clean the cages of the 2 ferrets that I have convinced my dad to buy. And I will walk the neighbor's dog once a week. Now, I gave that contract to my daughter Natalie, who never had the benefit of a street law class, and she signed it, and she came back, and I'm not making this up, she came back with an addendum. And then the addendum had a signature line for me. And she was smart enough to put in the addendum, if my daughter Natalie Johnson does all these things, then I hereby commit to giving her the dog. And she then realized, shortly after we got the dog in 2007, that a contract with a minor is unenforceable. So when I go home tonight, I am going to be walking my dog. So I want to say to the young people here, the students, who obviously have benefited greatly from their street law class, if you're thinking about law as a career, law can be the vehicle for achieving so many great things in your life and in the lives of others around you. My mother grew up, she's a native Washingtonian, she grew up at 1228 Maryland Avenue Northeast, which is on Capitol Hill. My mother's now 81 years old. Her memory's fading, and my parents, who live in New York, were in town for this past Easter weekend. My mother still remembers when she was a little girl living at 1228 Maryland Avenue that, and this is in the 1930s, she used to see Franklin Roosevelt drive up Maryland Avenue in his convertible with the dog and a Secret Service chase car. She still remembers that. She remembers seeing the President of the United States with a Secret Service detail drive past her home on Maryland Avenue. My mother raised 2 of us, including me. When I was about their age, I never could have imagined standing in front of an audience such as this, giving a public speech. I was a C and D student. In my household, when I was growing up, when I was 18, 17, a C was a gift. It was probably a mistake. And my mother was persistent, and she stood by me. She never lost faith. And the result of that has been, and this shows you what can be achieved in the lifetime of one 81-year-old woman. This past Sunday, we returned to Maryland Avenue with my Secret Service detail. And I don't think my mother ever would have believed or imagined something like that that she would see in her lifetime. So I appreciate this Lifetime Achievement Award. I salute this terrific organization. I hope that Street Law continues in the future to do such terrific things and inspire young people toward the law, because it is true that you really can achieve some remarkable things as a lawyer, using the law as a vehicle for achieving great things in the world. Thank you very much. Thank you for this award. Thank you, Patrick.